This conference will now be recorded.
Hey guys, this is Naveen here. Welcome back to Naveen Automation Labs. So guys, this is the third video on API and Web Services interview questions and answers. So far we have seen around 20 questions in last two videos. So last time, if you remember that 2 weeks back, I uploaded this video where I have covered question number from 11 to 20. Now let's move further. The next question is 21, that what are different common API errors that often founded? So it's a very simple question that very basic fundamental question that they want to check your knowledge and experience by asking about that API errors. What are different API errors that generally you have seen? So just to check your knowledge, the actual practical knowledge on APIs. So missing module errors, maybe some documentation errors are there, that documentation of the APIs are not proper. Parameter validations error, that whatever the parameter, either it is query parameter or path parameter that you are passing, those are not validated properly. Let's see, one parameter is account ID. It should be only in a numeric letter, but you are passing in alphanumeric or only in alphabetic. In that case, it is not handled properly and still it's giving you some output. So these are the basic problems with the parameter validation errors. Some standard error expectation, as if the result is not so predicted, then the occurrence of errors can be seen. So if you're saying that okay, result is not so predicted, then occurrence of errors can be seen. Okay, but let's see, there is no content available. Instead of giving that content not found or something like that, it's giving some different errors. So it means error handling is not proper in that case. Instead of some warning, some errors are coming, or instead of some errors, some warnings are coming, right? So these are the different errors. Documentation errors, like documentation is missing, whatever the acceptance criteria, whatever the expected result that you are expecting from that particular API, in the form of a response, what will be the request parameter, what are the different request structure of that particular API, it is not properly documented. So in that case, we will consider as a documentation error. Missing module error means, let's say you are you are trying to access some module resource. Let's see, slash account slash let's see phone number. So let's see phone number module itself, it's missing. So such kind of errors are there, that module is missing or a module is not available, like that, right? So this is a very basic simple question. Next question is, what kind of bugs? This is very important, that API testing would often find. So no doubt that missing, or maybe some functionality is missing, that you are trying to access some account ID, right, with the get call, but that account ID, the get account ID API is not available, or maybe some functionality is missing. You are not able to get the values or account information on the basis of account ID, but account name is implemented, but account ID is missing, or maybe some duplicate functionality that you have implemented. Errors, conditions, gracefully, it is not handled properly. This is the biggest problem, that because in API testing we have to follow fundamentals, we have to follow the standards. If, let's see, some content is not available, then it should give you a proper error, that error not found, or proper response code, something like this, right? So maybe, let's say, you are not able to post it properly, or you are not able to create an account properly, then it should give a proper reason what exactly. Instead of giving the technical reason, it should give you a proper reason, that let's see, missing account ID, or maybe duplicate ID you are creating, or account ID already exists, or something like this, along with some extra parameters or extra information also it should give. So proper error handling, it's very, very important. It's not gracefully handled. Let's see, I have created some API and I have given to you. You can use my API, let's see. But in that case, let's see, I'm not giving proper error description to you, then you won't be able to understand, because you can't see my code. So you cannot debug it, right? So it's very important for me to provide the proper errors descriptions. I have to handle all the errors and everything gracefully, so that you guys can read those errors, and accordingly you can display to your consumers, to your users, right? So let's see, make my trip is there. Make my trip is interacting with Emirates. Emirates is saying that okay, let's see, for this particular date from 1st January, to 5th January, flights are not available from Bangalore to Dubai, right, on this particular time. So if you're not giving proper error description or proper message, then MakeMyTrip won't be able to understand what kind of error we are getting. It's a data missing, then maybe some technical error is coming, or let's say some SQL exception is coming. In that case, it's problem with Emirates. They have to handle it properly, right? Load testing and stress testing, obviously we have to do that, because make sure that okay, your API is very reliable in terms of load testing. You have to provide multiple loads. uh, Either you can use JMeter or SOAP UI. SOAP load testing, you can do that, and then you can pass a different amount of load and check what exactly the behavior of the API. Same thing, you can do some stress testing also, that what is the exact the threshold value of these APIs or server level. My APIs are not getting crash, or my code is not getting crash. Like that, you can do that. Reliability means how reliable it is, right? If you are giving so much amount of request, or multiple requests are simultaneously is happening, or concurrency is happening, in that case, how reliable your API is, it how secure and reliable. So next point is security. Security is very important. You have to pass the authentication headers and everything, that right. So let's see, without authentication, you should not be able to access, otherwise anyone can access. So security is very very important in your APIs. Not implemented errors, as I already described, that maybe errors are not properly implemented, or not gracefully implemented, or not at all implemented. Inconsistent error handling, and error handling is very poor, just like I would say the same like proper improper handling of errors. So inconsistent error handling is again the same thing. Performance, I have already told you, load testing and the performance testing and the stress testing. Multi-threading issue, that concurrency, right? So let's see, if you are 50,000 requests I'm sending to MakeMyTrip, right, or maybe to Flipkart or Amazon, but if it is not multi-threaded, or it is not in a properly synchronized way, right? So let's say 50,000 requests, multi-threading means it is one by one, it is serving the data, not in the parallel mode. Then it will take a lot of time, right? It will take a lot of time to handle it. So multi-threading issue is very important. Or maybe let's see, I want to capture on Amazon, I want to buy some product, let's see Apple MacBook, or maybe Apple iPhone, and the second user is also looking into that Apple iPhone, but second user is not able to see, because first thread, the first user has already logged it, right? So such kind of issues are very important to handle, right, in API. Improper errors, again same thing. Maybe I can remove this. It's again I have already covered. Now some common web API testing interview question with respect to documenting the API. So what is API documentation, guys? People might ask you this question. API documentation is that complete documentation having the proper accurate technical description, what kind of how to use these APIs. Because see, you have to understand, it's not that very straightforward. Because if I'm creating any API, it's my responsibility, right? Let's say you take an example of Selenium API, or Apache Py API, or Log4j API. So it's their responsibility to provide the proper documentation, because I cannot see your code, right? If some banking application is there, or let's say any flight booking system is there, they are providing some APIs, right? So it is very important for them to provide the proper documentation, what exactly I'm doing, what can you do with these APIs, what are different query parameters, path parameters, what kind of request, what is the URL, what is the resource, what are the different headers you can pass, what exactly the JSON payload or XML payload you can pass along with the request, what are the different error handling descriptions are there, what is the response code we will send. So complete documentation, guys, you have to provide. It's their responsibility, right? So it's Selenium responsibility to provide the complete Selenium documentation, that okay, with this get method or find by element or find element method, these are the things you can do, right? Same thing, some other API is also available in the market. You have to do it. Otherwise, I'll be blank. I won't be able to understand. I'm just having one URL. That's it. But I don't know what exactly the expected behavior, positive, negative test cases. I won't be able to write. So there is a always contract is signed, okay, between two systems. So see, guys, that's why I'm like, you know, covering more about this question number 23, that API documentation. So what we have to do, what exactly I'm trying to say is, let's see, uh, this is some, let's see, makemytrip.com is there, and number of flight options are available, right? So user is sitting over here, user is hitting this makemytrip.com, this guy, this user. Makemytrip.com is interacting with Indigo. Makemytrip.com is maybe some other site, SpiceJet or Emirates or maybe Etihad is there or something like this. So they're sending the request and getting the response. So they are interacting with API, right? There is an API, request and response is coming. But Indigo says, or let's say Emirates says that, okay, we have these three APIs: get flight information, book flight information, or let's see, delete flight information, something like this. So first of all, if they really want to call these APIs, they should know what exactly the get flight information documentation is there. So Emirates will provide these documentation, okay, provide these documentation to makemytrip.com, and makemytrip.com developers, the backend developers, they will read this documentation. It may be a Word file or PDF file, or it can be anything, or maybe some wiki they will send. And then on the basis of that, they will design the code over here. They will call their APIs. They will handle all the error handling, all the use cases they will handle. That if I pass the, let's see, the from and to destination, okay, I should get these number of results like this. So the proper documentation, it's their responsibility. If you really want to interact, if you really want to integrate with my system, I have to provide some documentation. Otherwise, because I cannot see their code, I cannot see Emirates code over there, right? Same thing for other systems also. So whenever you see any kind of integration in any kind of web world, guys, documentation is very important. In fact, in your company also, in your project also, if any backend testing you have to do, it's their responsibility, it's developer responsibility to provide the proper documentation on the APIs, right? Or maybe let's see, you are working in amazon.com. Amazon.com, there is a team is there, OMS, order management team, and there is a product team is there, and you are interacting with these, you are calling these API from OMS, order management, and the product management, or product team is there, or one category team is also there. So you are interacting with these three systems. So this team responsibility to provide the API documentation to these guys sitting over here in Amazon.com team, so that these guys can call these APIs on the basis of this documentation, whatever documentation they have given, right? So it will be very useful for me to handle the complete, end-to-end use case, complete end-to-end testing I can perform, and I can develop also properly, right? So that's why it's very important. Now, what are the different API documentation templates are available? For API document templates, we have number of things. We have Swagger. Swagger is very popular. Some people, they use a simple wiki page or documentation point of view, like they use Postman collections also. We have Maya Dot also, that is again kind of a documentation tool. Slate is also available. Flatdoc API Blueprint is also there. REST documentation is also there. It's a sample template where you will you can check what are different JSON payload, XML payload, path parameter, query parameter, what are different error structures are there and all. You can check it over there. Same Swagger is very popular. You can check. In fact, you can in Swagger you can test your APIs also. You can simply call the API, get the response, and you can pass the parameter as a post payload or something like this, and you can check the response. You can check the status code, error code, and everything in Swagger. Swagger is very popular like this. Next question is, when writing API document, what must be considered? So as I told you that source of content, document plan or sketching, if any flowchart or sketch you can provide, okay, simple different blocks, you can create different components, you can create how exactly these components are interacting, you can create. Source of the content means what exactly kind of URL, URI you can provide. Delivery layout, again, it's a very business terminology. Delivery layout means what exactly kind of a structure, what is a flow chart, the flow diagram, you can, simple layout you can create. Information needed for every function in the document, that for every method or for every call, what are the different information that's needed, you can provide that, so that developers, they can implement, they can develop, and testers, they can write the test cases accordingly. Automatic document creation programs also there. I haven't worked upon these things, but it's very simple that you can create some documents on the basis of your code or Java documentation also you can create. Okay, so the next question is how often are the APIs changed and more importantly deprecated? It's a very basic question. You never know because APIs are getting changed in your project on the basis of the new requirement. Maybe today you are only passing, let's see, you want to create some account, you are only passing 4 parameters as a JSON payload, but tomorrow you want to add some more parameters, right? So what exactly I'm trying to say that, let's see, today there is an API, get account API, or let's see, create account API. So first we will create an account, right? Create account API is there. So let's say I'm passing in this particular payload 1, 2, 3, 4. Account name, account ID, phone number, and email ID, right? So today it is working, but tomorrow your product manager says or business says that okay, no, we have to add some more accounts. We have to add current account and savings account also. So number of parameters again you will add over here. Let's see, I want to add what kind of account type and then the limitation, the balance, and everything I'll add over here. And then I'll send the request. So obviously the entire architecture will be changed. Not entire architecture, I mean the architecture of this particular API will be changed, and then you have to accordingly you have to update developers also, they have to update, you have to update your test cases also. These are the different API changes are there. Some API, let's see, the businesses say business takes some decision that okay, we don't need this a particular API. Let's see, create user address API is deprecated. It's totally gone. We are not supporting this. So obviously it will be deprecated. Maybe developers they will deactivate it, or maybe they will delete it. So how often it depends project to project, right? It depends project to project. So APIs, especially modern RESTful APIs, are a nice creation that can certainly simplify and accelerate integration efforts. No doubt about it, because it will make your life easy. It will make the integration very easy, which makes it more likely you will benefit from them. But APIs can do change or vary for various reasons, maybe sometimes abruptly, and hence API do not differ from traditional integration methods in this respect. Let's say you are interacting with these two systems. One system is there and one system is there, right? So let's see, this is bankbazaar.com. They are interacting with different life insurance companies are there. Let's see, this is Bajaj Insurance. This is ICICI Bank Insurance, ICICI Lombard, some, let's see, L&T Insurance, or maybe some XYZ company is there. So they are interacting with these 2, 3, 4 systems, right? So customer is there. Customer is using this bankbazaar.com. So let's say this L&T Insurance or ICICI Bank Insurance or HSBC Insurance companies are there. Bankbazaar.com says that okay, yes, we are changing these systems or these things. Accordingly, they have to change their API like that. So let's say this particular L&T system, they are implementing some more features over here. Similarly, they will also observing this particular feature. They also want to change, or they want to also implement the same feature. So they will change the API, or they will deprecate some API, or they will add some new APIs, right? So it's not like only one time effort. It will keep changing according project to project, according to the business requirement. Time to time, it may vary. Time to time, it may change. It's not a typical traditional integrations always. It may change, it may vary also, right? So if an API call is obsolete or disappears, your procedure will interrupt, and it is important to understand how often the API you depend on change or are deprecated. As I told you, it may deprecate it, but how often it depends project to project, right? Cool. So next question is question number 27. Now, the basic questions on REST. First of all, you should understand what is REST. So REST is an architectural style. Full form people might ask you guys, remember that representational state transfer APIs, right? So this is a full form of REST for developing web services which exploit the ubiquity of HTTP protocol and uses HTTP methods to define action. So REST APIs, they use HTTP protocol to send the request and they get the response, okay, for the integration purpose. And what do you mean by HTTP methods? HTTP method means we have different get call, put call, post call, and delete call. So we have CRUD operations. Create means post, retrieve means get, update means update call, and delete means delete call, right? So it revolves around resource where every component being a resource that can be accessed through a shared interface standard HTTP methods. So what do you mean by this? So it's very simple. I'll explain through this basic diagram. Let's see, one system is there. I have developed one system, my own API, or let's say some banking API, or maybe Indigo API, or some flight information APIs are there. This system is available in the market, and number of flight companies are available over here. So they will create one interface over here, okay, and this particular system, they will integrate with this. They will integrate with some other flight companies, and some other flight vendors are available in the market. They will interact. Right now, the HTTP request and response is happening through HTTP methods and HTTP calls. What kind of method? Let's say I want to retrieve some information, so I will use retrieve operation, get operation. I want to get account number, get flight number, get flight information. So that is called get call, right? I want to create something, so that is called post call. C means create, R means retrieve, U means update, and D means delete. So this is called CRUD operation. Always remember what do you mean by CRUD. CRUD means create, retrieve, update, delete. So create means post call, retrieve means get call, update means put call, and delete means delete call. Right? So these are called 4 different HTTP methods are available. And accordingly, developers, Indigo developers, they will create these 4 APIs over here, and then it will be given to this particular guy, and then this guy will implement all these things over here, right? So this is called basic REST architecture. So the next line says, in REST architecture, a REST server provides access to resource, and REST client accesses and makes these resources available. It means this is the client. Client is accessing everything from here, right? Everything from here on the basis of some authentication, or on the basis of some authorization, username, password you have to pass, and then only you will be able to access these resources, right? What kind of resource? Resource is identified by URI. It means what is the API URL is there, or URI is there, any kind of global ID you are using, or any kind of authentication or authorization you are using, right? Or maybe you are passing some JSON payload or XML payload, or some text you are passing, right, to create some data over there, or so to update some data over there, right? So this is called the basic REST architecture. Now, next question is, what is RESTful web service? Now, RESTful web service. So REST is there, and then again RESTful web services are there. So mostly there are 2 types of web services. One is SOAP based, and another is REST based. So SOAP means XML based. XML based methods are there to expose web services, but SOAP is very old architecture. The full form of SOAP is Simple Object Access Protocol. It is totally based on XML based method. You have to send if we really want to integrate with some third party system, you have to send a request in the form of XML, okay, and then you have to get the response in the form of XML only. But it is not available, it is not sending the request or getting the response on the basis of HTTP protocol. It is handling on the basis of SOAP protocol. SOAP means Simple Object Access Protocol. This is XML based method are there. So I'm not talking about too much SOAP, because SOAP is almost gone from the market. Most of the people are concentrating on REST APIs. Another web service developed in REST, as I told you, that these are called RESTful web services. These web services use HTTP methods, as I told you, like CRUD operations, get, post, put, and delete. And a RESTful web service usually defines a URI. URI means a URI where, right? Let's see, some URI is there, that HTTP. So what is the URI format? So I'll show you. See, I'll show you what is URI. URI means some example. Let's see, I'm writing HTTP : www let's see, I'll go to amazon.com. Under this amazon.com, go to product. So product, okay, is there. Product is there. Let's see products. Under this particular product, pass some product ID. Let's see 123. So this is called the URI. Okay. So this is called amazon.com server. On this particular amazon.com server, one folder is there, or one module is there, products module. Under the product modules, we have this 123 is there. So give me the 123 is what? Product ID. Let's say product ID is equal to 123 is for Apple MacBook or Apple iPhone, right? Or maybe Samsung phone. So give me the products of 123, then it will give you as a response. So you will hit this particular API as with the get call, and then you will get something that Apple iPhone or MacBook or whatever it is there. Then you will get the complete information in the form of JSON. The UI developer will convert that JSON into HTML, and then it will be displayed on the UI on Amazon.com. Right? So this is called a complete URI. Right? So sometime what happens that, okay, let's see, some banking application is there. So what is the example of banking application? Let's see, I have one called http://www. Let's see, icicibank.com/accounts API is there. Okay, /accounts. But let's see, this is a post call. So this was the get call because we are fetching some information about product ID 123. So this is called get call. But along with post call, we have to pass some JSON payload. So what do you mean by JSON payload? So we have to pass this payload in JSON. Right? So it will start like this. So this is the JSON payload. Let's see. Account. I'm just giving you some basic simple example. Right? Account, let's see, ID. ID is 123. Something like this, comma. Let's see, phone number. Something like this. Phone number is something like this. Okay. So JSON will be in key and value pair format like this. Okay. And then let's say I'm passing that address. Address is something like this. Let's see, Bangalore. And then I'm passing, let's see, country, and country is, let's see, India. Right. So this is a JSON payload I'm passing with this particular API. So this is called complete URI, and then this is called complete URI, and then simple post call is there. Along with this, we will send the request, and then we will get the response that account with ID 123, and this account has been created successfully. Right. So this is an example of post call. Okay, so what is a resource in REST? So in REST, architecture treats any content as a resource. Whatever the content is available in the database, which is fetching through some server APIs. So that content is called a resource, which can be given to you in the form of text file, in the form of HTML pages, images, videos, or dynamic business information also. Right. So let's say I want to fetch information about product 123, or maybe let's say I can create one more API like this. I'll check with www.amazon.com. Okay, go to products. Under that particular, let's see, this is an API. So what under product means, go to electronics product. Right. So the moment I hit this particular API, I'll get a huge JSON response having, let's say, 1,000 elements where 1,000 electronic items are there. Right. So the moment you select on Amazon.com electronics from the drop down, or maybe from the menu bar, right, we select electronics or different other laptops or computers, accessories, or something like this. Right. So electronics is a category. This is called a resource. So from electronic resource, whatever data is available, entire huge JSON payload will be given to, and then UI, developer will pass it, and it will display in the form of UI. on the Amazon.com. But this is the backend server API. We are calling this API, right? So this is called resource, that give me something from electronics resource. This is also a resource that, okay, from electronics, give me Samsung S8, okay, this particular phone, this particular model, right? So Samsung S8 is again a resource, right? So resource can be anything. Resource can be maybe server is responding HTML, complete HTML page also they can give. They can give some images also, right? Let's see, Samsung S8, they will give you some images of Samsung S8, some description, some about the product information, who is the seller, what is the features, a description, images, 4 5 images are there, or maybe some videos are there, everything, right? Business information about that Samsung S8, or maybe iPhone is there, or maybe OnePlus 5T or OnePlus 6T is there. So they will give you the complete information. Those information will be displayed on the UI. But this information is coming from where? This information is coming from the server. But who is calling this API? We are calling the API in the background. The moment I write in the search bar, right, in Amazon.com, in the search bar, the moment I write S8, Samsung S8, internally this particular backend API, this particular backend API will be called. The moment I press enter after entering Samsung S8, internally this particular backend API will be called, and then the content will be given to you, and the UI developer convert that JSON content or XML content into HTML, and then it will be displayed on the UI. Got it? So guys, this is very important to understand. So REST server gives access to resources and modifies them, where each resource is identified by URIs and the global IDs, like this. Okay, so let's see the last question, because in this video I'm just going to cover only 10 questions. What is the most popular way to represent a resource in REST? So in REST we have different types of representations. We have JSON payload, we have text, we can pass the text also, we can get the text. We can pass the JSON payload, we can get the JSON payload. We have XMLs also. So these three are there in, so it's your choice, either of them you can pass. XML and JSON are the most popular representation of the resources. Now, why XML and JSON are so popular? Because it's very lightweight. So guys, always remember XML and JSON, these are data holders. What do we mean by data holders? Means information holders. I cannot pass a Java object. See, in older way, if you remember that serialization and deserialization, I can pass some Java objects, but these Java objects are very heavy. It's not that it's not that easy to deserialize them or encrypt and decrypt them. But JSON and XMLs are very lightweight, very lightweight. You can pass thousand amount of data. So why I'm saying this? Let's see if XML and JSONs are not there, right? So these two systems, okay, let's see, these two systems are interacting, right? And you are the consumer, and this is Amazon.com. I'm sending, okay, give me all the electronics items, right? So let's see, there is an electronic class is there, electronics class object is there. Inside this electronics objects, I have 1,000 electronics items are there. A lot of laptops, machines, we have different mobile phones, and there are so many things are there, right? So this entire object will be given to this, right? And then the consumer, the browser, will convert this object into something in HTML or something, and then it will be displayed over there. But you imagine it's a huge object, electronics object. This is not the right way. It is a very older way. So, but now XML and JSONs are there. What exactly JSON will do, that it will create a JSON format like this, as I told you, like this over here, and all the information will be captured in the form of key and value pair format, right? Like, okay, item number 1, 2, what is the description, what is the price, what are the different features are there, what are the different product information is there. Everything will be implemented in the form of JSON or maybe XML if you are using, and then send it to this guy. So over the network, if you send these things like this, it will be very lightweight, because it's not only one consumer is there. There are multiple consumer hitting this particular API. Will try to capture this electronics. So it will be very easy to pass in the form of JSON. So JSON and XML, these are called information holder. They hold the information about the data, about the resource, about the product, and then it will be given to the consumer, or maybe some any third party system, right? So this is, if this is bankbazaar.com, they are interacting with Emirates, or maybe interacting with ICICIbank.com. So information exchange is happening with the help of XML and JSON. And other advantage is that, so let's see, if I'm passing this Java object, but let's see this consumer is written in .NET. So .NET guy, or maybe Python guy, right? Maybe Python, this system is using Python, or this system Amazon.com, they are using Java, right? So Python guy won't understand this Java object. They can understand only Python. So if both are in Python, then this is platform compatibility is there. But both are totally independent. One is different technology, another one is different technology, right? So in that case, it will be a huge problem if you're passing the Java object, because Python guy will not understand what is Java object, or they have to write some different thing altogether to read this particular Java object and to get the information from this Java object. So that's why these are the universal data holders. Any language, if you're passing JSON or XML, Python, Java, .NET, C Sharp, Ruby, whatever the kind of platform you are using over here, whatever the language you are using over here, they will easily understand these XML and JSONs, because every language supports these XML and JSON files, right? So that's why XML JSONs are very lightweight, and it is platform independent. It is not like dependent on a specific platform. It is totally independent, totally compatible with all the platforms. Platform means all the different systems, technology systems. If they are using different language, like this, maybe they are using Oracle database or they are using MongoDB. That doesn't matter. They will pass the information. They will fetch the information from the Oracle or MySQL developer, convert them into JSON, and send it to this guy. They will read these JSONs and they will store somewhere in their database, right? So guys, please try to understand this. This is very, very important. One last thing I will again explain for technology point of view, what exactly I'm trying to say over here. That's a problem with me actually. I try to explain everything. So see, let's see, these two systems are there. Now see guys, very important to understand. These two systems are trying to interact, are trying to integrate, send the request and right, and get the response. What I'm trying to say, guys, let's see, this guy is written in Python. Okay, this system is written in Python and this guy is using Java, right? Java. And for the backend database point of view, they are using, let's see, Oracle database. So they are using Oracle. So their data is stored available in Oracle in the form of rows and columns. And these guys are using MongoDB, or maybe some different Oracle system, or different database system. Let's see, they are using MongoDB, right? So whatever the information they are sending, getting the information from the system, fine. So we are sending the request that, okay, I need all the electronics item, all the electronics items. So this is the server. This is a Tomcat server. Amazon.com is running on this particular server. This server will interact with this Oracle database. It will fetch the information. It will hit some SQL queries or store procedures. It will get the data. It will send this particular data to server, and server will send this particular data to this guy. But before that, they will convert this data into JSON. So JSON will be sent. Okay, guys, JSON or XML will be, or XMLs will be sent to this guy. This guy will write some code, okay, to understand this JSON and XML, because in Python also we can write, and will store this information in MongoDB. Now you imagine if Java is coming over here, a Java object is coming, Python will not understand, right? Or maybe some, whatever the result set object is coming from database, the same result set object from Oracle database, if you are sending this different object to here, Python will not understand, maybe, right? So that's why it is always easy to pass, always simple to pass JSON or XML, or maybe some text, so that they can use it. They can easily, okay, read it, and then they can easily use it. And these are very lightweight also, right? So always remember these two systems, system one, system two. First, they will do marshalling and unmarshalling like that. It means they will get the data, convert the data into JSON and send it to this guy. They will read this JSON, convert them into the compatible Python code or maybe whatever it is, and then store inside the MongoDB or whatever they want to use with the data. Or maybe they want to pass this data to the some web application or maybe mobile application like this. Right? So guys, that's all for today in this particular session. In the next session, I'll cover question number 31, I think, yeah, 31 to 41, 42. Okay, but today we will just cover only these 10 questions. So please practice with these questions. These questions are very, very important to know. So this is part 3 of REST API and Web Services interview questions. Part 2 and part 1 I have already uploaded. So if you really want to refer, this is part 1. You can see that here, Web Service and API testing part 1, and this is part 2. And in fact, in the playlist also you can go, and in my playlist, here it is. So you can see that part 1 and part 2, first you can check 1 to 40 questions are there. Sorry, 1 to 20 questions are there in part 1 and part 2, you can see. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. So this is my channel name, Naveen Automation Labs. Please subscribe to the channel and let me know if you have any issues. Right? Thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching this video.